Welcome to Inspire Campfire, a podcast where ordinary people tell their stories of extraordinary adventure. These are campfire stories meant to inspire the rest of us to light the fire within, get outside, follow our dreams, and return to tell our own stories. Ready? Let's strike the match.
Welcome to the show. I am your host, Scott Wurzbacher, and today we're going to talk about training like a Navy SEAL. You've probably heard about the grueling challenges that SEAL candidates are put through as part of the basic underwater demolition SEAL training known as BUDS. Today's guest has recently participated in a training program called SEALFIT, which was originally designed to prepare candidates for BUDS. Hao Dinh is our guest, and he is here to tell us about this extraordinary experience and the ways it's tested him and ultimately transformed his life. Born in Vietnam and residing in the United States, Hao is an experienced junkie. He's worked across the United States, Europe, Southeast Asia, in the venture capital, financial services, energy, extreme sports, and entertainment industries. He's performed a variety of roles, including innovation evangelist, P&L general manager, product owner, and his favorite job as a professional skateboarder. His experience with SEALFIT is yet another new experience that's allowed him to see a whole new side of himself, both mentally and physically. And I am so excited for him to share with us what it was like to train like a Navy SEAL. Hao, my friend, welcome to the campfire.
Thank you for having me. Wow, man. Who's this person you just introduced? I don't know this person.
I don't either, man. I have so many questions. So for listeners, Hao and I have known each other for a very, very long time, worked in corporate America over 20 years ago, and I had no idea that you were a professional skateboarder. I want to start with that, man.
Oh, man, the best time of my life back in the 80s when skating was still, the 70s skating was hot and it died. But back in the 80s, it had a resurgence. And, I had a chance to skate with Tony Hawk, Christian Sawyer, all the big names. But, back in the day, professional was when you got sponsored by a local skate shop and you participated in competitions. Today, professionals make millions of dollars. I wish that was me, but I wouldn't give it up. For 9 years of my life, woke up, all I thought about was skateboarding. During the school year, I would go to school. As soon as the bus dropped me off, I would dump my backpack, grab my skateboard, and then come home around midnight. And did that for all through my younger years, the best time of my life.
Oh man, that is so much fun. I had no idea. And now I have even more questions because I just found this out just before this podcast. I know we're going to talk about SEALFIT, but I want to talk about skateboarding. How do you get from skateboarding to corporate America to doing this SEALFIT program? Let's go from the skateboarding to corporate America.
Well, I mean, that's the thing that I've learned through my life is, I definitely have to thank my parents for just having a curiosity of life. We were refugees from Vietnam. So when Saigon fell, my mom and dad and my family got on a boat and got to the U.S. And I am so grateful for that because, we still have relatives that didn't leave. And I can tell you, if I was back in Vietnam, I wouldn't be who I am today. It's just all these opportunities in America. But yeah, I mean, went to college and, my dad was a military guy, came to the U.S. He was a major in the South Vietnamese Air Force. And when he came to the U.S., his first job was a janitor. And I can't imagine what that felt like for him. But, he did what he had to do, raised a family. We all went to college. And to your point, graduated, went to work in corporate America and never looked back.
Man, that's awesome. So take me into the corporate world.
Yeah, yes. Actually, Scott, that's where you and I met, right? We were
Yep.
consultants back in the day when this thing called SAP or ERP was hot. And if you know how to spell it, you got hired by the consulting company. So, I got hired. Oh, and honestly, I remember interviewing people and wow, why are we interviewing you? But we just need bodies, if you remember.
Yeah.
Went through consulting, got laid off I was a e-business consultant during the early stages of the startup world in 1999. And then when the bubble burst, I got laid off. And hindsight was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. Because, you know, prior to that, I was just living a life. You know, everybody wanted me because I could spell SAP. And then finally I got humbled and luckily was able to go join a company called GE. And for 17 years, just, you know, learn how to work in corporate America. And I love my time at GE. And again, got laid off at GE, probably the best thing that ever happened to me there. And hindsight, sometimes life gives you lemons, but man, you really don't know who you are until you take those lemons and make lemonade. And it's been great.
Yeah. I mean, and I just in that 30 seconds, like, you know, refugee coming from Vietnam and, getting laid off a few times and all those experiences, you're talking about how these are all like most incredible opportunities that you've ever had. So to be able to look at life like that is amazing. So there's so much that we could cover. Today, we're going to talk about this most recent experience that you've had with SEALFIT. So let's go there. Can you give us an overview of what SEALFIT is and how you found it?
Yeah. So every year I challenge myself to do something that scares the heck out of me. And 2019, sometime, I don't remember exactly when, but I was watching Discovery Channel and they had Navy SEALs training and BUDS training, as you mentioned earlier. I was like, man, that's actually really cool. And, you know, at that time, I thought I was fit. So I was like, let me go see if I'm really fit. So luckily, you know, I went on the internet, said, hey, there's these ex-Navy SEAL commanders that have this program called SEALFIT. And if you want to put yourself through the ringer, you can pay them to yell at you and do all the stuff that, you know, that will test you out. And I was like, that's a great challenge. So at that time, they had a program called Unbeatable Mind, which is more than just the physical stuff. And that's what we'll talk about here. But I signed up for it and it was a game changer. And, you know, if anyone out there that wants to just challenge themselves, I thought that, you know, my biggest concern was, you know, I was fit, but I wasn't fit like the people you see in Navy SEALs, but you don't have to be. In my, you know, every year they have a group of people that go through this program. In my group, we had 2 70-year-old men and 1 80-year-old woman. And talking about inspiration, I get inspiration off them. So
absolutely.
Yeah, they figured out how to do this you're not out there trying to be better than the person next to you. You're trying to be better than who you are yesterday, which is totally amazing.
Yeah. Trying to be better than who you are yesterday, as opposed to comparing yourself to other people. Yeah. I love that. So take me back to like, why did you even go seeking this in the first place?
Yes. So, you know, maybe I'm a person that's glutton for pain, but I realized that, you know, I can sit through life and just let life pass by and just collect a paycheck and do whatever everyone expects me to do. But I find that quite boring. And that's probably why I did skateboarding early on and why every time I get laid off, I don't go try to find a job that I got laid off of. I go try something new. So I wanted to try something new. I joined, like I said, I wanted to challenge myself physically, but man, what they taught me was mental and you know, how to make myself mentally stronger so that I can be physically stronger, which it didn't really, I didn't understand that, but now I do. And I can tell you it's exponentially helped me grow through the years.
So did you think that you thought this was going to be purely a physical experience and found out that it was mental, and that was kind of surprising for you?
Yeah. So when I joined the program, I thought, hey, on day one, they're going to make me do 100 push-ups. The first 2 months, it was all about breathing exercises. It was all about the psychology of your mind and how when your mind is made through the billions of years that humans have been around, our mind has been conditioned to help us survive. It's not here to make us happy. It's not here to make us better than we were yesterday. It's just here to make us survive. So what I learned is when we get challenged, our mind goes, oh, this is hard. This is stressful. Don't do this. Stop. So it pretty much tells you that you can't do it. But what the SEAL training provided for me was I got another 80% in me that will get me over this challenge. And I just need to tap into that and figure out how to get to that 80%, because my mind is trying to save me in its eyes. But, you know, in today's world, you and I aren't running around trying not to be eaten by saber-toothed tigers, right? But our mind thinks that our stresses in our life, giving a presentation, you know, going up and talking to someone, they relate that to being in front of a saber-toothed tiger, which is not true.
Wow. Yeah. So obviously this is why it's called Unbeatable Mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
So can you kind of give us an overview of the program?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, the first 2 months is all about, so you can't control your mind. That's the first thing. You can manage it. So what they do is they give you ways to manage your thoughts. And one is around breathing. And there's this thing called box breathing, which is, you breathe out count of 4, you hold your breath, count of 4, you breathe in, count of 4, and you hold your breath, count of 4. You do this over and over. And what that does in your body is it calms you down. So anytime you get stressed out, anytime I get stressed out now, you'll notice I get quiet. And I'm not quiet just to be quiet. I'm box breathing. And oh my gosh, it calms me down. And I think all of us agree, when you're calm, you make better decisions. You're in the flow. So they're trying to take a situation where you're stressed out, you're not in flow, get you back into flow. And then once you're back into flow, there's this thing they taught us called a fear loop. So as I mentioned, our brain is here to keep us alive. It's not here to challenge us. It's not here to make us better than we were yesterday. So this fear loop kicks in. Hey, I'm getting ready to give a presentation. And your mind is going to go, holy crap, that's scary. And it's going to come up with a million reasons from your life experiences why you should not give a presentation. And it's all false. It's all made up, right? And because our brain is here to say, what's the minimum amount of energy do I need to expand to keep Hao alive? Yeah. And giving a presentation burns energy because it's stressful. And it's saying, no, I don't want you to do that. So it, the SEALs training taught me to realize that this is a fear loop kicking in. It's my subconscious, my brain. Acknowledge it. Don't fight it, because you're going to lose if you fight it. Mm-hmm. Acknowledge it. And then replace that fear loop, what they call courage loop. Understand what it's trying to do for you. Oh yeah, it's trying to prevent me from using a lot of energy on something that's stressful. And then it gives me all these reasons why I shouldn't. And then look at those reasons and determine, are they really valid? 99% of the time, they're not valid. We make our own stresses in life a million times bigger than they really are. Then what you do is you manage it by saying, you know what? Okay, if I don't do this, then I'm going to lose out on a great opportunity to present my ideas to someone. If I do fail, what's going to happen? All right, a couple people are going to critique me. Who cares? Right? So you replace all that negativity to prevent you with all the things that you need to do to convince your mind, I can do this, and it's not going to kill me. And then after you do this so many times, you start doing it subconsciously. And I can tell you it works. And everything now that I encounter, I automatically go into this, fear loop. And initially I had to go write it down. I had to go practice it. But I've gotten to a point now where I can do this, I believe, subconsciously. And it's really helped me tackle a lot of stuff that in the past I wouldn't have just done.
Yeah. So I want to stop you for a second, because this is a direction I wasn't totally thinking we were going to be going, but I love this. Because you talk about this fear loop, and so basically we're in the training. It is physical and it's mental, but we haven't even touched the physical piece. We're just talking about mental. You're talking about giving presentations. This is not Navy SEAL stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is just overcoming the fear and converting into a courage loop. On this podcast, a major theme is listening to the voice inside that calls us to adventure, and then having the courage to follow that voice. And what I'm hearing you talk about is this sort of primitive brain that says, no, I can't do that. I need to protect you. But then there's something below that knows it, recognizes that it's just fear. It's just, so I wonder, it seems like there's two separate things going on there. It seems like there's you that wants this thing, but then there's this other layer that says, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And I wonder if is that thing that wants it? Is that the voice that's calling us to adventure? What is that thing?
I don't know what to call it, but I think it is, right? Because and you know, it's very interesting because I'm surrounded by a lot of people that don't understand that on a regular basis they don't do things because of the fear loop, and I see it on a regular basis, and sometimes you just need to be enlightened, and I wish someone would have, man, if I had this knowledge now when I was 20, holy crap. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what I would be right now. But sometimes, I'm a little slow, but that's okay. I figured it out. But now I feel stronger mentally and physically than I've ever been in my entire life. So this is very interesting. So the first 2 months, they taught us how to breathe. They taught us fear loop, courage loop, and then the third month, they said, you know what? Let's do something physical. They said, in this month, within 3 weeks, we want you to do 300 burpees in an hour. And then first of all, I had to go look up what a burpee was, and look it up. And it's very intensive on your body. So I remember, and again, when you come into the program, they put you in what they call boat crew because they realize you need support. Okay. So I have 5 other guys. It was all guys, and there's women in there, but my group are all guys. And we're all around the world, and we jump on a call each week to encourage ourselves. And I remember on that week's call, I told everyone I did 5 burpees and almost fell over and died.
5, and you're going to do 300.
5 burpees, and you had to do it right? You can cheat on burpees. Trust me, you can cheat. But what you need to do is you got to do it right, because if it's not right, then you're cheating yourself. It is another thing that they teach us is you got to do the things in life that only you can reflect on, and who cares what other people think. Mm-hmm. But and then what they taught us was, again, our fear loop kicked in. How are you going to die if you do 10 burpees? I'm not going to die if I do 10. I'm going to probably lose my breath and be sore. Right. But it taught us that every time you do it, get 20% better the next time. So I did 5. The next day I did 7. The next day I did 10. I have an Excel that shows my progression for the entire 3 weeks. And I still have today a screenshot on my phone of 59 minutes and 43 seconds when I did 300 burpees.
Yes.
Yes. And I can tell you, Scott, every time I question myself, every time I tell myself I can't do something, I look at that picture of that screenshot of 59 minutes and 43 seconds. I can conquer the world.
I love that you kept that. I love that you kept it as a visual.
Love it.
Was there a point when you thought to yourself, there's no way I'm going to be able to do 300 of these in an hour?
Every week when every time I did it, because, what I did was I went up to like 100. I'm like, I got 3 times more. I got to do 200 more. And I'm dying today because I only did 100. But again, it's just these baby steps, mm-hmm. Getting, just starting and realizing that it's your fear loop kicking in. And I told myself every time, yeah, I'm in pain, but I'm not going to die. I went online to make sure, is it physically possible? I went online to look. It's like,
you did. So we have it from Hao.
Yeah.
Looked it up.
I looked it up. It's physically possible to do 300 burpees in an hour. It's just that I wasn't, and I thought, man, it's going to take me a year to do this. It took me 3 weeks. Yeah. And all it was every day do 20% better. And then you just take that learning and apply it to everything else in your life.
Yeah. I feel like I want to share real quick. Like back in 2011, my wife and I did a marathon, and I remember looking at. I downloaded a training program from Hal Higdon, and I remember looking at that training program, and I'm somebody that was only running 3-4 miles at a time at that point, and I remember looking at that training program and seeing that the last week of the training, you had to run, something like 40 total miles. It was like 10 miles one day, take a rest, another 10 miles. And then you did a 20-mile long run on the weekend. And this is just the training. This isn't the marathon. And I remember looking at that thinking, there is no way I'm going to be able to do that. There's no way. But the training program takes 12 weeks to get there. And you start with, 3 or 4 miles on the weekend. And then the next week you do 4 or 5. And then you just keep adding a mile every week. And before you know it, like, you're doing 10, then you're doing 12, then you're doing 13. And it's like, that was what I kept telling myself. Like, well, if I can do 10, I can do 11. If I can do 11, I can do 12. And that's exactly what you're talking about right here. And it's amazing how, like, over time it just builds up.
Honestly, all this stuff and I did a lot of research around this fear loop, courage loop. They call it, this is not rocket science. This has been known for decades. Everyone just polishes off and calls it something different, but it's just our human, it's our psychology, our physiology. It's all this stuff is known. Like I said, if someone would have taught me this when I was 20, my gosh, I can't imagine.
So
I'm too young.
I want to talk about that because you mentioned that a couple of times just now, and you've also mentioned that before when we were talking on the phone the other day. But you said that you think people just need to become enlightened. And then you mentioned this whole, I wish I knew this when I was 20. But I mean, I guess I'm curious because when you say, you need to push past that fear loop. So like there's the you that we speak of, and then there's that fear loop. So like, what is it? Like, what does that enlightenment mean?
It's when you realize that it's all about you. And I want to make sure we talk about later that the SEAL team is a team, but in order for the team to be effective, you need to know your limits so that the team can come together and say, hey, Hal's not good at this. He'll improve on it. But right now, who else on the team is good at that so that we fill that slot so that we don't have gaps in the team. But you need to understand where your limitations are and where you want to improve. And I guess to answer your question, it's really reflection because, I remember early on in my life, people told me what to do. Hey, go be a doctor. So I went pursue a medical degree. And I was like, man. And then one summer I went to volunteer at a emergency room. The first patient came in with a gunshot, almost fell over seeing blood. I'm like, I can't be a doctor, right? So these are the things that I need to I wish, and I get it now, and I'm sharing this. I don't have any kids, but I have a startup that is focused on this type of stuff. And it's more around innovation. But if you think about it, innovation is very similar to what I'm talking about. People don't go do innovative things because they're scared. They're fear loop. How do you go through these small incremental learnings to get to where you need to go? And then realize you are going to fail. You are going to make mistakes. It's okay. Life is not, if we think our life is going to be full of like perfection, then good luck. All right. So just realize that life has its ups and downs, but every time you have an up, enjoy it. Every time you have a down, learn from it, and it all evens out.
Yeah, you've done that masterfully. I mean, that's just coming across just in the time that we've been on the call here. And I think you said something else that's really important. We're talking about Navy SEALs. Like, I mean, this is the elite. Like these guys are, protecting us at the absolute highest levels. But what you said was, yes, they're a team, but they have to start with knowing themselves. So it absolutely starts with yourself. And to me, it seems like what we're talking about right now is almost kind of a self-awareness, like knowing what we're capable of and being able to push ourselves to the next level. But you got to do that before the team can succeed.
Totally agree. And that's the hardest thing I think in life is, and I just tell you from my experiences, we're told in life what we should be, what we, how we should act, how we should dress, how we should do whatever. And don't get me wrong, I'm not asking everyone to be, go against, society and so forth, but just understand that you were put on this earth because of you, and you have some uniqueness in you that people need. But if you just keep on following the herd, you're never going to know what your uniqueness is, and you're depriving the world of something great. What it is, I don't know, but it's every person is put on this earth. They've got some greatness in them. They just got to figure out what that is.
Yeah. So how did this training help you refine what that is for you?
Yes. So it's very interesting because, I've been doing digital transformation for 20 something years. When we were at, in consulting together, I was doing digital stuff, still doing that. And the part that I don't like about my job, especially in today's digital world, is I'm out there helping organizations drive automation, digitalization, and as an outcome, there's a lot of people that lose their jobs, and I don't like the fact that what I do for a living affects other people's livelihood. So about 6 years ago, I started this, and it was just really, I mean, I started this thing where, because I just wanted to be innovative, and I started trying to understand how to be innovative. And I was like, you know what? The only way I'm going to figure out how to be innovative is I try to teach it. And because someone told me, hey, the best way to learn something is to go teach it.
Yeah.
So I went out and I totally bombed, but finally figured out a formula on how to help people be more innovative, which helped me be more innovative. So I'm taking all these learnings and every day trying to make myself better. And then now what's happened is this passion that I have, that I got to go fix the stuff that I'm breaking, which is laying people off. And ever since I went, and it's been what, 3 years now? 4 years since I've gone through this SEAL program. I am so passionate about what I'm doing in my nonprofit, where I'm going out and helping people find their greatness, right? You know, people in factories that we go lay off because I'm making a smart factory. We're going in and say, hey, you spent 30 years building a widget. Now we're going to digitally upskill you so that you can go work next to a robot that builds the widgets, but that robot has no idea how to make high quality widgets. Yeah. You know how to do that, and give them the confidence and the ability to work next to technology, because they're part of a generation that wasn't born with an iPad in their hand, right? So they need to have that additional nudge. So these are things that are really fueling me these days. That, yeah, I got my day job, it pays the bills, but I love doing the stuff around making sure that when I go in and do a smart factory, we also have programs in place where if you're laid off, that's fine, because we're going to upskill you. You're going to come back and you're going to make more money. You're going to have a better skill set. And if we can't hire you, there's tons of other people out there that need people with these digital skills. So it's been, you know, hopefully I'm answering your question, but I'm taking all these learnings and then pushing it towards my passion in life.
Yeah, it's really inspiring, actually. I mean, you know, technology just continues to grow. Like, it's going to happen, the efficiencies and, you know, people losing jobs. This is just part of like the world that we live in. And the fact that you're looking at both sides of it. I appreciate that. I admire it. I think it's super cool that you're doing that, like both in your work and then in the nonprofit. So let's jump back to the SEAL training. We kind of left off at you were starting to do the burpees. Like, keep taking us through the progression of this training. Like, where did we go from the 300 burpees?
Yeah. So what they do, they help you build your mind, make it stronger. And then they help you apply. How do you take that into the physical world so that you can do 300 burpees in an hour? And then, unfortunately, I had to wait a year and a half before I was able to come physically on site to put all these pieces together. Mm-hmm. And what they do now is they put you in a team. Unfortunately, since it was 2.5 years and COVID, my team overseas couldn't come over to work with me on this program. So I had a different team. Okay. But man, then they showed you what happens when you can come together as a team and you can confidently tell people, you know what, we're getting ready to lift this 700-pound log and move it to this, you know, from A to B. I'm not the strongest in this group. And, you know, I would need help in this, and have that confidence to ask for help. And then, hey, here's this area where I'm actually good at, and I would take the lead in this. And then the thing that was really powerful was, you know, they mixed the teams up. And then in one exercise, I had that 70-year-old lady in my group, or 80-year-old lady in group. Yeah. And she had glasses on. And we're out on the beach at 4:30 in the morning, complete darkness. And her glasses fell off, and I stepped on her glasses and I broke her glasses. Mm. And it was the start of the day. So she went the rest of the whole day not able to see. And she's 80 years old. Wow. And I can tell you, when we were done, I went up to her. It's like, first of all, I'm buying you some new glasses. And then second, that's like, every time I was getting ready to give up, I thought of you because I mean, she couldn't see, man.
Yeah.
And then, but the entire team was like, hey, go to the left, go to the right. We're helping her. And we got all that stuff done. And I can tell you, they're like, you're moving this 700-pound log. And I'm like, we got this 80-year-old lady on my team. I was like,
you can't see. That's amazing.
See. But we figured it out. And that's what they're trying to teach us is once you understand where you are in life, then you can definitely go improve. But once you hook yourself up with a team that has an objective and you're all trusting each other on what your abilities are and feel comfortable telling them, hey, I need help here and there. What can't you do? Right. That's the thing. And it just totally, I mean, really, I mean, now that I think about it, I was like, this is just, I wish someone would have put me through this when I was 20. And actually, my nephew, who is 27 years old, I'm trying to get him to go through this program with me. But, when you're 27, you really don't think like this.
Yeah. So, but okay. So you said it again. Like, I wish, this is what you said. I wish I knew this stuff when I was 20 years old. So let's go there. Like for people that are 20 years old, like what would it mean?
Honestly, if you just now, if you're 20, just take a step back and say, what is holding me back? And I guarantee you it's going to be what other people think, especially now with social media, right? What other people think, all these like negative things that come to my mind that I can't do it. And then pick one and just say, okay, whatever that thing you want to do, ask yourself, is it really a saber-toothed tiger or is it a putty cat in disguise, right? 99% of the time, it's a putty cat in disguise. And just take one step forward. And if you do that, by the time you turn 30, you're going to rock the world because stuff every day is going to come at you. It's going to be crap. And you're like, you know what? All right. It's crap. I'm going to learn from it and move forward. Whereas when I was in my 20s, when crap came my way, I mulled over it. I spent a month thinking about it. Got me nowhere other than just preventing me from doing stuff that I wanted to do. I didn't let it go. Just think about it. And I'm not saying everyone should go through Navy SEALs, but just at least go understand this thing that we have in our head, which drives a lot of our decision, which is our brain, which again, like I said, is only here to help us survive. It's not here to make us a better person than we were yesterday. If you can understand that and get some value out of that, it will be really beneficial in your life. And then most importantly, who gives a crap what other people think is another thing that I've learned that I love about myself now.
Yeah. And so I guess I'm curious, like going back to that, like, I wish I knew this when I was 20, like what were some of the things that kept you from doing what you really wanted to do? Was it this fear and just not recognizing that fear was something that you could overcome?
Yeah, totally. Because I spent a lot of my years. So I spent 17 years at GE. Mm-hmm. I look back, wonderful time in my life. I never left GE because I was scared to, right? GE back, not now, unfortunately, but during the 17 years I was at GE, it was a leader in developing leaders. And it did exactly that for me. But now that I think about it, there are opportunities where I could have left and probably done things more of who I am compared to, GE builds people that have this structure and this mindset. And then they just keep on making me grow in that mindset, which if I think about it now, I'm more, now that I'm comfortable, I'm more of an innovative designer compared to what GE wanted me to be, was a finance person, which, man, I hated, but I did it because it was what they told me I should do. And then when, information technology became hot, I went down the route of being an IT leader at GE, which was awesome. But now that I try to understand who I am, I'm more of that innovator person who likes to work with people to come up with new disruptive ideas, build a team that is not about the yes man or the team that says it can't be done, but it's a team that I'll make mistakes, but I'll learn and I'll get it done. Yeah. I think that's my goodness in life, or greatness in life.
So Hal, what I'm hearing you say is, we just talk about this voice that calls us to adventure. Like you've had that voice, but you've been like early on, you were kind of more leaning towards just doing what other people told you to do, as opposed to listening to that own voice. But would you say that voice was always there, or is it just now appearing? Or
Well, I can tell you, you know, as we're talking through this, that's probably the reason why I spent 9 years skateboarding, because back in the 80s, a skateboarder was a rebel, right? A person who wasn't the status quo per se.
Yeah.
I loved it. My gosh, I loved it. And then I guess now talking to you, thinking about it, corporate America kicked in and was like, no, 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 you're not going to be a rebel. You're going to be pigeonholed into this space, and you got a ladder to climb. And it's a ladder that everyone else is climbing. You're going to climb it if you want to. And then I wanted to, because I wanted that carrot. But now I realize, man, thank goodness for all the times I got laid off. Because if not, I would have keep on. If I didn't get laid off from consultant, I would have been I would still been a consultant, which probably, you know, I'm not saying being a consultant is not a good thing. It's just that it's not me.
Yeah.
I got laid off from GE. I love my time at GE, but now that I'm outside of GE, I realize I'm not the type of GE person that GE would want me to be. And nothing wrong with that. I had to go through that learning. GE is a great company. I cherish them to this day, what they taught me, but I'm in my own now. I'm in my space.
Well, and it's interesting, because I'm wondering, like, you know, Monday morning quarterback, hindsight, like always looking back, I wish I had all this information when I was 20, but like, how much of this did you have to go through to get to that place?
So you know, like I said, I challenge myself every year, and I've gone through a lot of the leaders in personal growth, right? There's tons of people out there. And the one thing that resonates with, took me a long time to get, was, why reinvent the wheel? If you want to be good at something, go hang around people that have done it, so that you can accelerate getting to that point. But the problem with me was I was so scared to ask for help. And the fact that I didn't want to look like I didn't know. But man, now if I don't know something, especially with the internet, I go figure out who's an expert and just find a way to talk to them. And one thing I learned about people is there's good people in the world. My gosh, there's good people in the world.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about this component of innovation called design thinking. I went and found people. So many people taught me in their spare time, brought me under their wing, you know, coached me for no, I mean, other than my thank you, right? And then once I realized how powerful that was, I'm paying it forward. I'm doing the same thing. And that's probably why I love so much my startup, is I'm paying it forward there, because someone paid it forward with me. And if I don't pay it forward with others, then, you know, what type of life do I have? So yeah, just realize that there's goodness out there. Go ask for help. It's not a weakness. It's actually a strength. Yeah. If you can go and have that confidence to say, I don't know how to do this, I am so proud of people, and I want to help them, because that's, you know, how scary that is to go tell people I don't know, and can I get your help? That to me is a strong person.
Yeah. But I think from what I'm gathering here, like, that empathy that you have is because you've been there.
Yeah. Yeah. So to answer your question, just, it took me a while to get there. So go do this. Go do this now. Go ask for help early on. Go realize you're not going to be perfect. You know, there's a lot of good people out there that want to help you. And don't get me wrong, there are probably some bad people too, but again, you got to go learn, right? Yeah. You got to learn the good and bad and so forth, but just go out there and have some fun, man. If you know, I'm lucky that I figured this out, and I still have a runway to go, keep on growing in this area. But just imagine if we're close to our deathbed and you finally figure it out, and you're like, oh man, you know, and maybe you're not physically fit, or, you know, you couldn't do the things that you want to do. Just realize that we're put on this earth for some greatness, and we don't know when that last day is. All right. So if you don't go and enjoy every second of your day, then it's on you. It's not anyone else's fault but you.
Yeah. And I feel that you are embodying this. I can, from your energy, I could just feel that you're living. I love the enthusiasm, and like, I can feel that you really mean this and that you're really doing this stuff. It's so cool how. So can we sort of just round out the whole SEALFIT thing? How does the SEALFIT thing end?
It never ends to me because so I did the entry level stuff and you know, so I did that week-long event, but there's this thing they have called so they've got I did the week thing and they broke it up into chunks, but you can go for I think there's one for 12 hours, no 6 hours, where you can go for 6 hours straight. They put you through the ringer, and then there's one that's 12 hours, 20 hours, and there's something called Kokoro. Okay. Kokoro is 50 hours of this, and I think only like 3% of you pay the money, and if you don't pass, you ain't getting a refund. Right? So I actually went to another event, and I spoke to a guy that went to the Kokoro, and he passed, and he's like, yeah, not a lot of people pass, but he talked me through what he did to get there, and it's all the stuff that is all back to the fundamentals, right? When you're at the fifth hour, you're like, I got 45 more hours. No. I got the next minute. Okay, I got the next minute, right? You just keep on just doing these incremental things, and then just realize that they're not there to say, you got to be as good as the person next to you. No, they're good at looking at you and saying, you know what? Hal came in and did 5 push-ups and 3 chin-ups. By the end of this, he's going to do 120. This other person came in, did 120. When they're done, they're going to do 200. So they adjust because the purpose is to make you a better person. And then how do you fit into the bigger organization to make the organization or this group that you're in better? And once you figure that out, that you don't have to be perfect, and then you got a support group next to you, you can do stuff that you think is impossible. Yeah. So I'm living that every day. So to answer your question, I'm trying to get my nephew to go do this with me. But I want to do the 6-hour one, and then eventually sometime in the near future do Kokoro.
I love this. So what I'm hearing, to sort of summarize, is get your mind right.
Yeah. And
then you can start challenging your physical body with this right mind incrementally. And you can push to like no limit, essentially.
That's what I'm doing. And it's working so far.
Yeah.
And you know, it's also have some fun. I mean, I'm not doing this just to like, you know, stress myself every day, but I'm actually having some fun. Yeah. I'm in my backyard picking up logs, where in the past I would like hire someone to do that. But the thing is, I love it because I'm picking up logs, right? And every time I pick up the log, I think back about that 700-pound log. Yeah. And it's just very interesting how I think of things now. I used to like dread things, but now I'm like, hey, what can I learn from that? And I go do it.
So what's like? What does leveling up look like for you now?
As I mentioned, I'm going to do the 6 hours. Yep. You've convinced me to go climb Kilimanjaro this year.
I love it.
So I'm going to go climb Kilimanjaro. And just keep every day I wake up and I go, okay, what did I do yesterday? What I want to do? What do I want to do today? And then make sure I wake up early enough so that I can go tackle pieces of that before the world tells me what I need to do for them.
Yeah.
And then you know, repeat and rinse.
Rinse and repeat. I love this. So it turns out that that skateboarding Hao kind of went through a process and sort of refound this new version of skateboarding Hao. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, and you know, every day I feel like I knew Hao every day, and that's what I want to like my life. Like I said, if I knew this early on, right, yeah. Just wake up in the morning instead of being pissed off that something happened like 3 days ago. Don't check any emails or social media when I first wake up because it's going to piss me off. So just go do Hao for at least the first couple hours of my day, yeah. And then the rest of it, if it turns out crap, who cares? Because I did all the stuff that I wanted to do at least the first 2 hours of the day.
Yeah, I love this. All right, so I have to tell you, right now I'm reading Jordan Peterson's book, The 12 Rules. I can't remember it. 12 Rules for Life, something like that. And have you read this?
I think I read. I don't read a lot. I do a lot of audiobooks. I believe I did an audiobook, but I didn't finish it. I don't think.
Okay, so I'm only about halfway through. But one of the rules at the end is something like, "Don't bother kids when they're skateboarding."
Seriously, wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And so I'm not there yet. I haven't read it. I don't know what's behind that, but like you just brought new meaning to that. And I'm like, I have this new excitement about reading that chapter. So I'll have to report back to you, but I think you're on to something there. I'm pretty excited.
Yep. I mean, I tell you what, all this stuff that I'm doing has been done billion times over with other people, right? So it's not like I came up with this. All of us are going through our life. We just need to figure out how to make that life the best that we can be. And I'm figuring it out for myself.
How this episode seriously has been just packed full of wisdom. Like you obviously learned a lot during SEALFIT, but you've obviously learned a lot just on this journey of life. And I really appreciate you sharing. I want to just go like, just kind of one more final, like if you had advice for people that are inspired by this episode, inspired by your enthusiasm for life, like what advice would you have for people that have dreams and aspirations, but just haven't really gotten there yet?
Yeah. Every day, and I do this often, go to YouTube and just do inspirational videos. And every morning, watch it. And
Nice.
it puts you in a different mindset. And then realize, as we talked about before, Scott, who are you? What do you want to do? Just spend a couple hours a week saying, and journal this, because it's been proven that when you write it down, it actually means more than if you just think about it, right? Find out who you are. Use those inspirational videos to get you to go take one step forward in that definition of who you are. And I guarantee you, if you do this, it becomes a habit after 60 days or whatever that number is. But you will start getting used to just going, you know what? I want to be this. I don't know it now, but I took a step yesterday. Now I want to take 2 more steps today, get 20% better every day. And it becomes a habit. And you just start doing this subconsciously. And it's changed my life. It's changed a lot of other people's lives. But you gotta make that investment up front, because your brain's telling you, you know what? Go back to sleep. Get under that warm blanket. All right. It's 4:30 in the morning. Nah, hit the snooze. It's all up to you.
Yeah, man, I feel, like when we're done here, this video is going to go up on YouTube. I'm thinking this is one of those inspirational videos that you can watch when you get up in the morning. I got chills, man. I seriously love your enthusiasm. I love the work that you're doing with the nonprofit. And like you are we've had lots of lunch meetings together, and I'm just always inspired by what an innovator you are. Like how just your enthusiasm, everything about you, like Hollywood's going to pick up on your story at some point, and they're going to make a movie about your life. And I want to know, when they do, who's going to be the Hollywood actor that's going to play you in your movie?
Oh, I don't want anyone to play me. I want my movie to be a documentary.
Oh.
And I want it to be a documentary of all the people that have interacted with me, and a candid discussion around what did they think, right? Was it good, bad, or indifferent? And I hope most of it has been, how touched me in a positive way, whatever it was. And that's what I want my movie to be, because, there's so many other superhero movies out there. I just want to know, when I watch it, I want to say, oh man, I didn't know I did that. Oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool, because I can tell you so many people that I can be part of their movie saying, did you know you did this for me? And you changed my trajectory in life. And, that's what I would like my movie to be.
Well, I'm just going to tell you right now. So here's my clip for the movie. You inspire me through your enthusiasm and your just like zeal for like taking opportunity, and just, this whole idea of like seeing everything that happens in life as an opportunity, not being a victim, and just, taking the bull by the horns and just being that innovator and being creative. And that's inspiring. And I thank you for that.
Well, thanks for having me. This is great. I love this. I mean, this is the part that fuels me too, right? Because now, I need this too. I need a shot every once in a while to say, hey, there's a little bit more in you, Hal. Keep on going, right? So yeah. I appreciate, this opportunity to talk about it. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, so it's going to be a documentary. We know this, but what's the documentary going to be called?
Oh, wow. The Day in the Life of Hal. That's all it is.
I love it. The day in the life of Hao. Well, thank you so much for your enthusiasm and your energy and just spending some time with me here today. For those listening, I hope you've been inspired today as much as I have. I hope that Hao's story has encouraged you to really listen to that voice inside that's calling you to adventure, because we want to hear your story next. If you have a story to tell or you need a nudge to create one, please send me an email. We'd also appreciate it if you'd help us spread the word by leaving a review and sharing or tagging Inspire Campfire in your social media. And until next time, I want to encourage you to get outside. Thank you for listening. Hao, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.